Hello, sir. What can I help you with today?
I'd like to purchase this loaf of bread, please.
That loaf of bread will be 29 cents. Thank you. Come again.
I will.
Hello, sir. How can I help you today?
I'd like to purchase this gallon of milk,
A
please.
gallon of milk. That will be $1.39.
Here you go.
Thank you for your business.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Would you like to purchase some gasoline today?
Where's the usual guy?
He's out today. That'll be 60 cents, please.
There you go.
See here, this one will run you about $3,600. Isn't that nice? And you see that truck go?
What is that? This? What is this?
That's not really a car, sir.
This is it. This is what I want. Take my money, please. I want this. This is it. This is the life. Yeah.
As you can see, this lovely home features a clock and some couches and a portrait of this lovely family. And it's 50,000 square feet. And it'll only cost you $52,000.
Alright, this seems nice. I'll take it.
I'm so proud of you, son. Too bad college costs $16,000.
You should have enrolled him in a public college. It only would have cost you $7,800.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Cinco.
Many dance and music trends in the 1970s popular culture revolved around the rapid rise of the disco culture. This spawned out of the popular nightclub scene in America's large cities and the upbeat, funky music that accompanied these settings. This cultural phenomenon is evident in musical artists such as the Bees Gees, Casey and the Sunshine Band, ABBA, and Chic. This music was present in popular movies such as Saturday Night Fever and Roller Boogie. By stark contrast, the 70s gave birth to massive countercultural groups, including hard rock, heavy metal, progressive rock, and punk. Throughout the decade, these genres transcended music and worked their way into every aspect of life, particularly in the 70s youth. Throughout the 70s style trends, looks were modified to fit the decade's focus on glamour and free-spirited living. Women's fashion often included colorful clothing, tight flare pants, pantsuits, and longer hair not put back. Men's fashion often included tight-fitting clothing, flare pants, bright colors, rise of polyester suit and tracksuit, long flowing hair, and curled perm with sideburns. In the news article Pope Tugs at the Iron Curtain World, it describes Pope John Paul II's travels to Niezo, the birthplace of Polish Christianity, where he spoke boldly for the churches throughout the communist Europe. During his visit, he disapproved the communist government, which was not very popular with the citizens there. In the news article U.S. Abandons Saigon to Communists, it describes the U.S. abandoning Saigon, South Vietnam, for the communists to take, marking the end of the Vietnam War as well as the start of a transition period to the formal reunification of Vietnam under the Socialist Republic. The Exorcist begins when Chris McNeil, a successful actress, starts noticing strange occurrences in her Washington, D.C. home. She attributes this to rats. When these oddities start affecting her 12-year-old daughter Reagan, she turns to medicine. When nothing turns up, a priest is called and a more sinister reality is realized. Upon further examination, it is discovered that young Reagan is possessed by an evil spirit named Pazuzu. A series of exorcisms are performed in an attempt to rid the girl of the malicious being.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
The movie Jaws begins when a large rogue shark begins eating people instead of its natural prey, and local sheriff Martin Brody tries to close the beaches, only to be overruled by the mayor for fears that closing the beaches would cripple the town economically. Three men, the sheriff, a captain, and a scientist, team up to take out the dangerous man-eater. The Imperial forces, under orders from the cruel Darth Vader, hold Princess Leia hostage in their efforts to quell the rebellion against the Galactic Empire. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, captain of the Millennium Falcon, work together with the companionable droid duo R2-D2 and C-3PO to rescue the beautiful princess, help the Rebellion Alliance, and restore freedom and justice to the galaxy. In the film Grease, an immensely popular 70s musical, you'll follow the adventures, loves, and friendships that emerge within a group of teens during a summer in the 1950s. In The Godfather, Vito Corleone is the head of a mafia business, and his son, Michael, doesn't want anything to do with the family business. After Michael saves his father from the second assassination attempt on his life, Michael goes on a murderous rage, killing anyone who ever attempted to harm the Corleone's family, which in the end tore the family apart.
I'll make him an offer he can't refuse.
Star Wars is a movie made in the 70s with charming characters, an alluring plot, and genuine practical and special effects that give you a true feeling of intergalactic magic. Under the surface, a movie score and touching themes make it a memorable, groundbreaking movie that defines the generation. The Shining is a story about a family who visits a hotel during a snowstorm, only to find out there's a mysterious force in the hotel that only Danny, a 5-year-old boy, can sense due to his special ability called the Shine. Read to see if Danny can escape the hotel and this mysterious force, or if he'll be stuck there forever. The Princess Brides is a story with a sort of twisted love triangle with a prince named Prince Humperdinck who needs a wife to inherit his father's properties. A farm girl named Buttercup, who's in love with a farm boy named Wesley, but is being forced to marry Prince Humperdinck, and Wesley, who's being held captive by the prince. Read the novel to see if Buttercup and Wesley can reunite and live happily ever after, or if Prince Humperdinck will prevail. Watership Down is a story about a group of rabbits who leave their home and embark on a journey to find a new home, only to realize they have no females to repopulate with. After stealing some females from a neighboring rabbit home, the kidnapped rabbit's family declare war on them. Read to see how this war will proceed. The Stand is a story where America has been struck by a plague, killing everyone except a few. Those few people are either driven to go where the good people are rebuilding society, Colorado, or where the bad people are rebuilding society, California. Eventually, the good and bad will face off to leave only one group victorious to rebuild society. The Thornbirds is a story where Maggie falls in love with a priest who cannot marry her. She ends up having a child with her husband, Justine, and a child with the prince, Dane, whom her husband thinks is also his. After Dane dies, Justine is willing to give up her career to come visit her dead brother. Read The Thornbirds and find out what she chooses to do. The Vietnam War was the longest war in American history, resulting in nearly 60,000 American deaths and an estimated 2 million Vietnamese deaths. Nixon's presidency was an important event due to his unprecedented visit to China, the Watergate scandal, and his resignation from presidency in 1974. In 1973, Britain joined the European Union. The Cambodian genocide refers to the attempt of Khmer Rouge Party leader Pol Pot to nationalize and centralize the peasant farming society of Cambodia virtually overnight in accordance with the Chinese Communist agricultural model. Over 25% of Cambodia's population died. The Munich Massacre was an attack during the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, West Germany, where 11 Israel Olympic team members were taken hostage and eventually killed, along with a German police officer, by the Palestinian group Black September. The 1970s energy crisis was when major industrial countries of the world faced substantial petroleum shortages and elevated prices. Many social movements strengthened in the 1970s. For example, the gay rights strengthened in the early 70s, and in 1973 abortion was legalized, and in 1976 the death penalty was claimed as constitutionally acceptable. Apollo 13 was a major event where an explosion in one of the oxygen tanks crippled the spacecraft during the flight, and the crew was forced to orbit the moon and return to Earth without landing. The 3 Mile Island nuclear meltdown occurred in 1979 when a nuclear power plant had a cooling malfunction that caused part of the core to melt in a reactor. Some radioactive gas was released a couple days after the accident, but not enough to cause any major health problems. Also in the 1970s, the first Ebola outbreak occurred in Sudan and Zaire. There were a total of 602 reported cases and 431 deaths. A major invention in the 1970s was the vaccine for pneumonia, created by Oswald Avery, which gave many people resistance to pneumonia. A major technological invention in the 1970s was the wireless cell phone created by Martin Cooper, which finally allowed a way for people to talk with other people on the move instead of being tied down to a landline. Another major advancement in the 1970s was the first recombinant DNA organism, created by Herb Boyer and Stanley Cohen, which enables the creation of multiple copies of genes and the insertion of foreign genes into other organisms to give them new traits. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a basketball legend known for winning 6 NBA championships and 6 NBA MVP awards. He was very important in the 70s during his time on the Los Angeles Lakers, where he really grew in popularity with his famous skyhook shot. Kareem had an impact all across the United States, boosting morale of Lakers fans and changing the way basketball is played. He became a role model for young boys and girls all across the country. Mother Teresa is a Roman Catholic nun known for her devotion in helping the poor population of India. Mother Teresa really became well known in the 1970s when she was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts to help the poor. Although her work was mainly centered in India, it later grew and missions were started overseas in over 130 different countries. Her efforts in increasing awareness and getting help for the poor, ill, and elderly impacted thousands of lives across the world and will forever be remembered.
I'd like to purchase this bread, please.
That will be 20.
Why? I'd like to purchase this loaf of bread, please.
That'll be
Why?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Too bad it costs 16,000. No, 16,000.